What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Photoshop. Software I've literally talked about on this show before. I started using back in like middle school was the first time I used Photoshop. And then in high school, there was a digital art class that was available and took that, instantly becoming the best in the class because I was already been using the software for a few years, even though it was like early. The very first Photoshop I used was, I think, 3.0. And then by the time in high school I started using it, it was 4, 5. Whenever layers became a new thing, a new part of Photoshop. It's grown a ton over the years, but I started using it more in high school. In my first job out of high school, working at a movie theater, I bought the Photoshop Bible, which was a big, thick book that went through every single feature that had Photoshop, and I would literally just read it. Because I'd been using Photoshop forever, but didn't know all of the complexity that it had to offer. So going through and reading that really kind of put everything in perspective and kind of make everything make more sense. But recently updated, actually literally last Sunday, recording the show, while I was editing the episodes, there was an update for my MacBook Pro, and they came out with a new operating system, Catalina, and I thankfully upgraded after I was done editing everything. The big reason why it was thankfully after, because it changed things. No longer could I use the version of Photoshop I had before, which was Creative Suite 6. And I didn't know, I know Photoshop and Adobe had changed stuff to make it more web. Like they had Creative Cloud basically. A few years ago, they came out with Creative Cloud, and it was a thing where you basically paid a monthly fee to have access to their software. And I'd never allegedly had to pay for Photoshop in my entire life. But now that I have lost it, that whole day, that Monday last week, was just thinking of all of the things I use Photoshop for. And in addition to that, just things that I could be using Photoshop for, one of those to make money. So now I pay $9 a month, which is not much. I get Photoshop and Lightroom, which is nice. It's the photography bundle, I believe. I never got into using Illustrator. I never used their Audition, I think is their audio recording software. Never used Adobe Premiere, their video editing. I always just use GarageBand and iMovie. They do everything I need them to do. So I don't necessarily need the big bundle of all of their software, even though if I had to pay for it, I would start using all of that software. But so $9 a month. So look forward to new Photoshops. I'm going to start doing a lot more Photoshops now that I have to pay $10 a month. Of course, Ari Shafir is one of my regular, I guess, clients, you could say. He pays me for Photoshop, so I guess he's a client. So doing those. It's always tough with Ari, though, because he puts out the request usually during the end of the week, like a Saturday or Sunday, and my weeks tend to get really busy towards the end, especially Sunday, because I produce this show, and I'll wake up at like 8 a.m., and I won't be done uploading and scheduling everything until usually close to midnight. So it's a full day of work, and I've done a few times. I've been able to do Ari's Photoshops late Sunday or early Monday mornings, or at least Monday the next day I've done them. But it's tough. It's tough having that creative energy to do a Photoshop. But I love working for Ari. He's never. I don't think I've ever gotten any notes from him. I've thrown some crazy ideas at him that some he's liked and some he hasn't liked. But in addition to that, I started doing Kill Tony. I've done a couple for Kill Tony. I did one for Anakin Florian podcast. So a lot of podcasts that I listen to will probably most likely be the subjects for my Photoshops, just to do more, to do them more regular, just to get better and faster with doing them. Before in Denver, when I was doing the Inspired Disorder podcast, each episode I would do a Photoshop for that episode, and that got me really helped fine-tune my skills and help me do them faster. So doing these Photoshops for podcasts will help with that as well. And then also, of course, if you are in need of Photoshop work, I do a lot of image manipulation primarily. I mean, go look at my work. Go to inspireddisorder.com, and you can check out, I started an Instagram feed for my Photoshops, Ray Taylor Photoshop. You can go to both of those places to see all of my Photoshops, although they're not all uploaded on the Instagram page. But they're out there if you want to see the kind of work that I do. And I've done other stuff, freelance work for, shirt designs, poster designs, flyers, and all that kind of stuff. So if you need Photoshop work, please contact me. Please have a detailed description of what you want done. And if you want like a face swap or something to do with a person, I need access to a lot of different photos from that person so I can make sure I get a photo that fits. Because there's a lot of work that goes into doing a good Photoshop before the work even starts. For instance, the Kill Tony Photoshops that I've done with Mark Norman specifically, I just happened to find photos of Tony and Mark with their faces at the right angle, with their faces lit the right way that matches the lighting of the photo that I'm putting them in. And the less work that I have to do to make an image work inside another image, the better it tends to come out. So if there is something you want to hire me for, like you want me to put your friend on a crazy thing, like I need access. They better have a lot of selfies on Instagram or Facebook or something like that. Whereas comedians just have to Google their name, and generally there's enough out there for me to choose from. But yeah, so kind of a weird time now that I'm paying for it. It's only $10, which is nice, and it's well worth it. The price of it for what I'm going to use it for and for what I do use it for. Because I literally, when I post my artwork on my website, I edit each photo in Photoshop. So although now I might try and use Lightroom since I have access to that, and I just want to get the most use out of these things now that I am putting money into them. So hopefully they can start making me money, which is a good thing to do. And keep in mind that I am colorblind, so I've learned tricks over the years to kind of mitigate any mistakes that I might make in regards to color. But keep that in mind also if you want to hire me to do something, that there is a chance that the colors may not turn out right, and I should be able to fix it and make it better. But keep in mind with that. But yeah, Photoshop, Creative Cloud. They've definitely added more features to Photoshop and changed it a bit, so there's a little learning curve as far as that. Things not working exactly the same way they used to, but I'm happy to have it back. It was only gone for a couple weeks, but I'm glad they have the less expensive version that I can pay for to get it back and keep doing my Photoshop work, because I enjoy doing it. But that's it for this episode. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show do come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my original artwork, ink paintings on paper, over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!